All right, motorcycle project tonight. It is winter here in the Pacific Northwest. It's raining sideways outside, and we've actually got a snow and ice storm forecast for tomorrow, so not doing any motorcycle riding outside. I got to get my fix by turning wrenches on the motorcycles out here in the shop, so that's what we're going to do tonight. I've got my 2011 DRZ 400 here, and tonight we're going to be replacing the headlight in it. I haven't done a whole lot of modifications to this bike. It's largely stock. I got a 3x3 mod and JD Jet kit and a couple of other bolt-ons like these bark busters and stuff, but the headlight is stock and it's not good. For any of you that have driven a DRZ at night, that headlight just, I mean, it's barely adequate to light up the road in front of you. It really doesn't do a good job of, lighting up the trail and showing you obstacles and things like that you might be approaching. I actually looked at upgrading the bulb with an LED replacement, but I've done that in the past in other housings designed for halogens. And you really, you gain a little bit of up close light, but you lose the low beam cutoff and you lose longer distance vision with those. At least that's been my experience. And so I decided not to do a bulb replacement, and I ended up buying a couple of sealed 4x6 lights. And this is what I settled on right here. I was only about 30 bucks. But like I said, I tried a couple of them. I've actually got other uses for the ones that I'm not using here. This one I liked quite a bit. I plugged it in, tested it out. It's got a good low beam cutoff and a nice long distance high beam. It's got some nice mounting holes here on the back. And so we're gonna see if we can make this thing fit here. Now I know that some people have successfully mounted these lights in there and basically just kind of zip tied them in place. I'm gonna try and do a little bit better than that. I think we'll either CNC plasma cut and bend something or maybe 3D print a bracket for it. That way I can engineer in some adjustability and make sure I get the low beam cut off at the right elevation, just to make sure I don't blind the oncoming drivers. So let's get out the tools and take this cover off and get started. This looks pretty simple. It's got like a halo style steel frame that's bolted on with these 4 bolts here. And then it's got some adjustment screws here that allow you to adjust left and right and up and down. But the whole thing is kind of, I mean, it doesn't fit very securely in there. So I think what we'll do is unbolt it here and attempt to come up with some kind of bracket to bolt the LED headlight into place. Let's finish tearing this thing apart, and then I'll get out the measuring tape and the caliper and see what I can come up with. Actually, before I do anything else, I just thought maybe I'll fire up the headlight and then plug in the new LED headlight. We'll turn off the lights in here, and I'll just show them shining side by side on the garage door, and you guys can see the difference in brightness and check out the LEDs, low beam cutoff, and all that kind of stuff. So let me plug in my 12-volt power supply, and we'll fire those lights up, take a look at them. Okay, it is dark in here. I've got all the lights off. It's nighttime. There is the stock DRZ headlight. I know it's sitting at a kind of an angle. That's because the bike's sitting on its side stand and I need free hands to hold up this other LED light. So this is the low beam. There's the high beam. Low beam, high beam. All right, and here is our new LED light that I'm going to be using. This is the low beam here. You can see it's got a pretty decent light cutoff. And then here's the high beam. So distance-wise, obviously I'm not testing that out here, but you can see at least, here on the shop wall, the brightness of the LED bulb really dwarfs the brightness of the stock DRZ halogen bulb. And the best part of that is I'm 2.6 amps is what I draw with all of the LED drivers on in the new bulb. So significantly less power drain than the halogen bulb. Easy as far as headlight removals goes. guess first things first, we'll plug this in and make sure it works just fine with the DRZ's electrical system. Looks like she's gonna work. Well, I need to get a tape measure out and figure out some way to determine where this headlight's actually located relative to these holes, and then spend some time in CAD drawing up a bracket. And this is what I came up with. Pretty basic 90-degree angle bracket with kind of an offset in the mounting holes. Now all these extra holes actually do serve a function. It's not weight reduction. The back of the sealed beam is a heat sink, and so all these holes allow for a little bit more airflow. But actually, more importantly, I don't have an enclosure for my 3D printer. And when I print in ABS long pieces like this, I occasionally have problems with the corners of it pulling up from the heated bed. And adding all these holes reduces the amount that the part shrinks when I print it and reduces the possibility of the corners pulling up. So they serve a couple of functions. So anyway, this is what I got. Some time has passed, but not a lot of time. I just love being able to draw stuff up in Fusion and physically hold my ideas in my hand a couple hours later. So I printed this bracket out of ABS. It is not solid. It's got basically kind of a honeycomb interior structure to it, and it's plenty strong. I really don't think I'm going to have any strength issues with it, but if I'm wrong and I end up breaking it, I'll just print out another one. Now, dimensionally, I give this like a, I don't know, how much do I trust myself? A 30% chance of working as I designed it. This is the first draft of the bracket, and based on my past experience with CAD and 3D printing and three-dimensional brackets like this, I will have mismeasured something. But it affixes to the back of this light with these 4 screw holes right here, so I got some Allen screws I'm putting in. Might switch these out for stainless later. These are just black oxide ones. They'll definitely rust. But at least for now, we can get this thing bolted into place and see if it actually fits or if there's any issues that I need to address. All right. Oh, maybe this will work on the first try. I need to get some nuts for these factory bolts, but at least I can slide them into place and see if they're gonna, if the front cover is gonna fit. It is a tight fit. Be able to get that one in. And that one too. Huh. All right, well, I'm gonna get some nuts for these. And I think that's all I need to do. I can bolt this sucker right back into place and we'll be done. Well, these factory bolts are probably just a hair short for what I'm doing here, but at least for now, they'll work fine. spec. Interesting, I used a couple of different size screws for this. The one down here in the front is smaller than the ones on the sides. Well, that is it. That actually went easier than I thought it would. I thought for sure I'd be printing this bracket out 4 or 5 times, but didn't have to do that. Set this thing upright. All right, guys, well, it was really a pretty quick and easy project. I didn't run into any issues that I thought I might. The first revision of my bracket fit just fine, and really didn't run into any problems. Didn't even have to trim any plastic. So, I mean, all in all, I'm into this project maybe 30 minutes in the shop, 20 minutes on the computer, and a couple hours to print the bracket. Not too bad. Now, I will make this 3D printed bracket available. If any of you guys have 3D printers, I'll put it on Thingiverse and name it DRZ Headlight bracket or something. I'll put the link in the video description. And then I'll also put a link to the headlight that I bought in the video description as well. With that being said, a lot of these sellers, you know, they buy from the cheapest vendor in China. And so things might change. I'll put a link to the headlight that I used, but you know, who knows, the design may change and then my bracket might not fit. So maybe just take a quick look at the back, make sure it matches the one that I showed you in the video. As long as it does, the bracket should fit. If not, yeah, I don't know, you're on your own. Yeah, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. I've actually got another video coming out pretty soon on the 3x3 mod and the JD jet kit on this same bike. I'm actually already done with it, but I want to make a jetting change to it before I actually upload the video. So that's coming up soon. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and before I go, I just got to share that sweet Ducati V-twin sound. All right, guys, have a good night.